When you think of strong perks on the survivor end, what perks do you think? You'll probably think something like Sprint Burst, or Vigil, or even Dead Hard. Maybe even the new general perk, DS, or probably the most popular perk, Windows Opportunity. But what about Killer? That's the neat part. You already know it. It's regression perks.
I bring this up because I feel like it needs to be brought to everybody's attention that nowadays nobody runs any different perks, especially on killer. And I know the reason why, because perks on killer genuinely suck. And Jason released with three new perks that need to be talked about.
So I want to get this out the way. Silent Shadow is his only good perk. And I don't want people to think that I hate Silent Shadow or I'm forgetting about Silent Shadow in this video. So just know that I'm okay with Silent Shadow. I think it's his only good perk. And I want to talk about his two other perks because it gets to a point where you gotta talk about the most biggest elephants in the room. Rampage allows you to gain a haste whenever you get stunned, and for each token you have after breaking a pallet or wall, you gain one token up to 13 tokens. For each token you hold after you get stunned, that's how much haste you get for 13 seconds. Next is Hex Scared to Death. After you hook 3 different survivors, whenever you break a pallet within 13 meters of a survivor, they become hindered for 13% for 3 seconds. Now, judging by the fact that these perks seem really good on paper, I'm going to be honest, these perks are so bad that you're better off not running them. You are literally better running any other perk that does anything better than these perks. Because with Rampage, you have to get stunned, and you have to also take into accountability how many pallets you have to break so you can get full potential off of Rampage. But here's another problem. You can't special break these pallets or walls. You have to basic break them like the normal animation, not like Blight hitting the pallet or wall with his power, or Jason using omnipresence to break a wall or pallet. You have to break it yourself manually, meaning these perks might not even activate because of what killer you're playing as or how you break anything. You have to do it manually with a button input that isn't your power button. Now, sure, okay, these perks might be better on other killers like Kaneki, or like any killer that has like fast mobility, like even Vecna. No, these perks are just flat out bad. They are horrible. They are so bad to the point where none of these perks are good for anyone on any killer you play as. We probably have Jason being the new ace, by which I mean ace Ace's perks, Ace's teachables are so useless. You have to run them with perks to make them better. However, what makes this even funnier is that these perks aren't even good even if you combine them with other perks. So we're we're adding in perks. We're making perks, I should actually say, that do nothing, that are actually more of a detriment to you because you are nerfing yourself. You are giving yourself less opportunities to use better perks like Pain Res, Surge, or any other gen regression perk. These perks just don't do shit, and it's horrible. And even if you think, oh, maybe I should run it with Spirit Fury and Enduring, you can't. That is counting as a special break, I'm pretty sure. Hold on, I'm going to go to the killer perks right now because I don't even know myself. I don't even know if Spirit Fury can count as a basic break. No, it's a special break. After you break 2 pallets, when your pallet's done, the pallet is destroyed. That is basically a special break. So you can't even use Rampage or Hex Scared to Death with Spirit Fury and Enduring. And what makes this even worse for Hex Scared to Death is that For 3 seconds, you're 13% hindered. Vigil is a popular perk to the point where Hex Scared to Death will be as good as running as playing Freddy, I should say, against Vigil. The perk just the power doesn't exist. The perk doesn't exist because of Vigil. And I'm not saying nerf Vigil here. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this. Buff these perks. Like I guess you can make Hex Scared to Death be a 6 or 6+1 second hinder, so Vigil can actually make the counter make sense. Or you can even buff Rampage, and you can even buff Rampage, I should say, to be where the haste is longer, or I guess like for each token, your stun duration gets decreased by 2.5%. So you get one token 2.5%, you get two tokens 5%, you get three tokens 7.5%, and so on and so on. To the point where once you have like 13 tokens, oh hey, once you get stunned, it's shorter and you have enough time to catch up to the survivor with Rampage. Now, though I just suggest that Rampage gets buffed in that way, you also then gotta realize this. This perk is palette dependent. And this perk also is dependent on if survivors will pre-drop or just not pre-drop against you. And even then, you gotta actually allow yourself to get stunned, which means you gotta run enduring, but oh fucking well, like, that's great. I have to play stupid. I have to play to nerf myself. And nobody likes that. But it's not only just that. The other issue with Rampage is that by the time you catch up to the survivor after they stun you, they'll probably be at the next tile and the haste will not matter. I had one game where the haste from Rampage worked once, and this is on the game. That's funny. This perk can only be used on the game because the game has so many palettes, and I forgot to mention that Rampage allows you to also gain the haste when blinded. But even then, the blind doesn't fucking matter because once you get stunned by the pallet, people are always going to blind you. And even though if you get flashlight saved, guess what? That kind of doesn't really matter unless you're playing a stronger killer who has fast mobility. So we're back to the point where what the fuck do these perks even do? Who are these perks for? I don't know. I cannot tell you who these perks are made for or who they're designed for, because even if you try to use these perks in low MMR, like we're talking about like people who don't even know what the meta is, people who just started playing DBD, guess what? They're gonna pre-drop every pallet and they're never gonna stun you. So who are these perks made for? Nobody. That's the answer. Nobody. And I'm recording this today on bug fix 10.0.1, meaning they didn't even change these perks. They didn't change the perks. They didn't buff the perks or anything. So behavior thinks, oh yes, these perks are perfectly fine and everybody's going to use them and everybody loves them. No, these perks are ass to the point where nobody's going to fucking run them. I ran them on multiple killers that I think will be good with these perks, like Wesker, Kaneki, Vecna, even Dracula, even Jason. I even ran this shit on Trapper, and you know what I got? I got one good result on Kaneki. So, once again, who are these perks good for? No one. These perks don't do shit. You are better off running gen regression perks. And that's sad because the last time we got good perks was from Henry, but those are gen regression perks. I don't want to count gen regression perks as good perks. I want to count perks that are non-gen regression to be seen more used. And the way I see it, the way I think the way I know that the last time we got a good perk from a killer that wasn't gen regression was Vecna, not Henry, the Lich. We viewed 2 men. That's hilarious. Sorry for like the rant, and sorry that that you hear my lips smacking or my chair. I'm very sorry. I recorded like all my videos on my phone, so ignoring all this, please ignore all the audio things. But I had to make this video because I'm I'm tired with how we get perks from DBD, and the perks aren't good unless they're gen regression perks. Now that's not to say like there are so many perks in DB, like it's you're only good at running gen regression perks or any of that. There are perks that are good. I'm saying that Rampage and Hex Scared to Death are the two newest perks that I genuinely see no reason in you running. Like you cannot run these perks and your game doesn't change. You can run these perks and your game doesn't change. Nobody will ever be saying, "Oh man, I wish I had Rampage. Oh man, I wish I had Hex Scared to Death." I'm saying that. I'm not saying that all these new perks are ass. If you say like a perk Ravenous to me, okay, that's a good perk. I feel like it's a decent perk on like some killers. Or even like Forever Intertwined. That's a decent perk. It helps out a lot. But when you think of Rampage and Hex Scared to when you use Hex Scared to Death and Rampage, they just don't do shit. They really don't do shit. And I hate that. I thought these perks would be useful, but they're just not. They are held back by the basic break shit, and they're also held back by how little value they give you. And this also doesn't mean that I want every killer perk in DBD to be S tier or game breaking. I'm not saying any of that either. I'm just saying, please make your perks do something, because these perks do nothing, and it is why perk variety doesn't pop up all the time on killer. It's only on survivor. And even when there's perk variety on killer, it's the same shit. Hex and just gen regression. That's it. That's really it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time whenever I make a rant video or whatever. Bye bye.